The Internet. The Internet. Defined by the almighty Google as a global computer network providing a variety of information and communication facilities. However, some people define the Internet as a platform for information sharing and, by extent, the world's largest freelance education system. Many also consider it to be their primary means of communication between friends and family. Some also make use of it as a refined meme sharing platform, which is my personal delicacy. However, there is one lingering question about the Internet that needs to be answered. Has it done more bad for society than good? I'm going to do my best to answer that question. Looking back on my earliest endeavors into the World Wide Web, I can't help but get a little nostalgic. Getting my first Xbox on my 12th birthday and logging onto Xbox Live for the very first time was an experience that changed little Logan's life forever. Staying up late on a school night, building custom maps in Halo's Forge mode, or spending an entire snow day playing Minecraft in the pillow fort I had permanently constructed in my basement are probably some of the fondest memories from my childhood. That Xbox gave me the ability to participate in communities that I otherwise wouldn't have even dreamed of being a part of, considering that I was the kind of kid that enjoyed spending time alone in the woods, building hobo forts more than training Pokemon cards or playing road hockey. I was a weird kid. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only kid who felt this way either. Being able to communicate with anybody, anywhere, at any time over the internet can pretty easily bring like-minded people together and create really tight-knit communities rivaling those of the real life, even if all you have to access is a Cheeto dust-covered microphone and a 20-year-old CRT monitor that your parents left in the basement. Now just hold on right there, Logini, you might be saying. Isn't that view sort of skewed with the whole nostalgia and stuff? And you may have a point. The romanticized childhood view of technology, and by extent the internet, doesn't exactly apply to how most of our lives work anymore with the internet. Since its inception, the internet has evolved, to say the least. If you look back in the internet's past and take a peek at some forums from the 90s, the internet was a very different place. People used it tentatively and only posted when they had something specific to say, or if they were in dire need of information. Now the internet, and by extent anonymity, allows users to stay and do anything they like without any forethought or repercussion. For example, although Yahoo Answers provides some pretty amazing comedic material, it also highlights perfectly the current state of the internet. Now, that's not to say that the internet doesn't have amazing and infinitely applicable uses. I just don't personally think that everyone's making equally as good of use of it is all. I think something that a lot of people have concerns about is social media and the frenzy that the internet has given birth to. Just like a lot of things on the internet, although at its inception, social media was harmless fun, it's evolved into something a little more conspicuous. And taking a look at specifically Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, everyone's doing the same stupid thing where they post totally falsified and sometimes actually photoshopped pictures of themselves or places they've been in an attempt to show how amazing their life is to all of their followers. Anybody following those accounts then sees that and comes to the realization of how bad their life is compared to these big shot social media influencers. These people then do their best to make their life seem somehow better than it actually is, document it, and then post it to social media, in turn further perpetuating this negative and self-absorbed view of the world. It's like the 21st century version of Keeping Up with the Joneses, except instead of just keeping up with your neighbor, you've got to prove to the entire world just how amazing your life is. This mindset only has the capacity to do harm, and it's totally just not worth it. I'm gonna risk sounding like a complete hippie here, but after spending years on social media, I've come to the conclusion that just live your life the way you want to live it, man, and whatever people think of you doesn't matter in the long run. We literally all die anyways. Okay. Let's get back on track. Is the internet bad or not? Well, I gotta be honest, the internet is kind of a funny thing. Sometimes, like with my Xbox experience, it can be an incredibly fruitful and fulfilling tool. However, it's also known to have some deep, dark crevices beyond that of social media that really do represent the worst that the world has to offer. After contemplating this question for what seems like weeks, I've come to the decision about the moral status of the internet in the form of an analogy. At the moment, there's big talk in the technology industry about whether or not we're actually living inside a simulation, and as a result, how difficult it would be to create this sort of simulated world. Well, guess what? We've already done it. The internet is simply a microcosm of our human society, encapsulating literally everything that comes along with that. As a network, it hosts all of the bad, good, stupid, frustrating, and absurd things that we as humans encounter in our everyday lives. On the internet, things can be bought, sold, and traded, just like in real life. People get into arguments, and all-out wars end up happening, just like in real life. People hang out in hubs and discuss mutual interests, just like in real life. And people try to go on dates on the internet sometimes, and a lot of the time they don't go very well, just like in real life.
The only bad news about that is you're probably not going to need that type of protection tonight.
In short, there's really no good way to answer whether or not the internet is a good or bad place, because in turn, you're also asking the question of whether or not the world is a good or bad place, and by extension, whether or not humans are naturally inclined to be good or evil creatures, which has up to this point in humanity yet to be answered. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to go there when I started this. Somehow I just compared the pinnacle of meme refinery to one of the most heavily debated and philosophized subjects in all of human history. But truly that's the only appropriate answer to that question. The internet is essentially a microverse of our own creation, and through it we're able to very clearly see all aspects of humanity, both good and bad, for what they truly are. Inevitable. So no matter if you're having a blast while blasting your buddies away in good old Halo, or painting your face in Photoshop so that your 600 Instagram followers think you look a little bit more like Kylie Jenner, just know that what you do and say in this supposedly anonymous microverse may actually someday contribute towards settling one of the most heaviest hitting and philosophical debates of all time. Thank you, and have a good night. And I'm sorry for handing this in so late. Thank you.